Hello everyone, I am Mesh, and those who knows me, for them it is boring to hear about me on every video, but those who are new and join this video today, uh, about them that I am the senior test automation architect, and um, I am I'm I'm working. I worked in the mobile automation. I worked on a web automation. I worked on desktop automation, performance, and load testing. Also, I worked on the 5 years in the R&D department. And when I talked about those, I worked on different technologies in the R&D department, like Java, C Sharp, Python, R language, Ruby, and along with the Appium, Selenium, BDD, same way like with the SpecFlow and all. So different technologies involved in my career where I just wanted to explore those and wanted to teach these things to the others. Okay, that is one of my hobbies too. Now, till now, from my social reach, I have teach near about 2200, now 23, 2400 people to learn this test automation, and more than 50% these people they got opportunity in the very renowned organization. Also, 200 plus are, I mean, they have started helping in the same way like what I am doing right now. So happy to see like people are trying to help the others. Now, apart from my achievements, I have one patent on my name and other in the queue. And my education background, I did my engineering in computers as well as my MBA in international business as well as in IT. Now, when I talked about XPath in my last session, I know most of you are heard what we saw in the XPath. Okay, so I'll not take more time on that. Okay, I'll not take more time on that. That what exactly we had a discussion and what exactly the XPath is and how we are going to write the XPath. So what I'm going to show you today is the XPath access tree. Okay, so I'm just going to explain you how this XPath access, or we can see its tree works. Okay, so when we say XPath access, and most of the people they ask you the question what is access and why these access are used, but XPath access, there are multiple access, okay, near about 13 plus access now, but this is how its family looks like. Okay, now let's consider that I am a self. Let's consider that I am a self here. Okay, now my parent and my parent to parent, that is my grandparents, is always my ancestor. Grandparent is always my ancestor. When I talked about parent, parent is always your mother or father. Okay, and this is either you or we can say as a current node. Okay, so this is very interesting, guys. Okay, when we talked about this, I am here, this is my parent and this is my grandparents. So all these access that we are going to use in our today's sessions. Okay, how we can write this, how we can utilize this, all we can or we can see in the today's session. Okay, now what I'm going to see now, let's say after self, what I'm going to move here is on my parent level. Either I do have my preceding, or either my parents do have some following. Okay, so when we talked about preceding and following, so again those are your some of the people, like I mean when we talked preceding is all your nodes which occur before your context node. Okay, that is always your preceding. Okay, there are preceding siblings too. When we talk what is preceding sibling, it contains the preceding siblings of the context node. Okay, it is contains preceding siblings of your context node. Same way, Same way when I talked about your following. So following contains all the nodes which occur after the context node in the document. Following will contains, or we can say will contains all the nodes which occur after your context node or context node in your DOM or in your document. Okay, so you know the XPath is nothing but a query to your XML document. Okay, now again, what is following siblings? So following siblings is your selects all siblings after your current node. Okay, it will select all the siblings after the current node. Okay, now we jump to the child. Now what is child? So child contains the children of your context node. So what is your context node? Is yourself. You can see it will contains the children of your context node. That is my the child, or you can say are your immediate childrens. Okay, of this self. Okay, now when we talked about a descendant, when we talked about a descendant or self which contains the context node and its descendant, that means this is my context node and we can have its descendant here. Okay, so this is your children and their children's and their children's. This is how we can see this is the family of your XPath access, or we can say the family tree of your XPath access. Okay, so I know it is very interesting, and sometimes we have the bit confusion here, where the self comes, where the parent comes, where the ancestor comes. Okay, why I'm showing you this diagram and why I'm showing you all this upward, downward, and your sideways. The reason behind this is this comes directly to your interviews. Okay, this comes directly to your interview, because people may ask you the question in the same way. People may ask you the question in the same way. This is what I wanted to show you. Okay, now this is my all the XPath accesses. So apart from this, what else that comes into the picture? Apart from this, what else comes into the picture? So there is attribute also. There is one access named as attributes 2. So attribute which contains all the attribute nodes, and if any of the context node, that means if I have the context node this, then I do have the attribute. With the attribute I can write my code base or my XPath to get any of your web element. Okay, I'll show you that example, don't worry about it. Same way I do have the namespace too. Okay, so namespace is one of the node available in your XPath. Okay, so namespace is one of the node available within your XPath. That is very important node while you are developing your XPath, or while you are writing your document query. Okay, so this is how we need to prepare. So I'm just giving you some of very basic things about the tree, about the family right now. I'm just wanted to explain you these things. So anyone asks you what are the downwards to your XPath, then downwards always your child, descendant, and upwards are always your parent and ancestors. So this is myself, this is myself. So upward is always my parent and ancestor, downward is always my child and descendant. Okay, same way somebody asks you the tell me the sideways. When I talked about the sideways, my sideways is always my preceding, following, or preceding sibling and following sibling. Okay, those are always my sideways. So self, upward, downward, sideways. Okay, very interesting. But now, so this is just a XPath access tree which people may ask you in interview, and this is the way that you need to explain that in the interview. Okay, now let me go back. Now let me go back from here, and I'm going back. and now I'm trying to show you some of the areas. Okay, now I'm going to trying to show you some of the areas. Let's say uh, this is my Chrome. Okay, now if you can see, I have multiple browsers on my system. I do have Opera, I do have Firefox, Edge, and Safari too. I do have all the browsers on my system right now. Okay, so I'll go one by one so that you can understand some of the multi-browsers thing as well in your uh, interview. Okay, so how we can proceed or write our XPath. Okay, so let's start with some of the basics on the browser side, and then we can jump on our all the Access and XPath family. Okay, so let's go back. I am currently on the Firefox right now. Now the same way people may ask you, yeah, can you write your own XPath in the Firefox? So answer is yes. So answer is yes. You can write your own XPath in the console of the Firefox too. How do you start? So press F12 always. Okay, you just need to press F12, and you do have here the separate thing, like there you have the elements in if you can see here, you do have, again you can press F12 in the Google Chrome, you can see the same. So you have elements as a first tab, but if you can see in the Firefox, I do have the inspector as my first tab. I'll simply click here, I'll simply go to the username, and where it is identifying or it is locating this username. Okay, so I can simply locate this username with the help of uh, this inspector. Same way, if somebody asks you, can you write? Yes, I can write. I can simply say, again, I'm using this $x. $x is one of my I can say is the common to all, and then I can say it's my name. Okay, so I'll try to write in the same way that what I was writing in the previous thing. Okay, so I can find any of the elements. Yes, I am getting one as an array. If you can see here, I can get this one as an array element. Okay, this is how you can identify or write your XPath in the Firefox. Okay, very simple. You simply write $x, and the same way you can follow in the Firefox, and you can proceed here and simply enter your XPath or your string, query string here. Now I'll jump on the edge. Now I jump on the edge. Now what I can show you on the edge, same way how do I write my XPath in edge. I can try to press F12 one more time, and if you can see on the uh, on your Edge browser, Microsoft Edge, you can see the same way. You can have elements, you can have console, you can have your debugger and all other things. Okay, so same way what I had written here, once I select this, it is showing me the accessibility tree which I have shown you yesterday. I simply click here, I simply click here, and you can see this is my accessibility tree. It was shown due to this particularly selection of this particular area. Okay, now I I go back here and try to write something in my console here. Okay, try to write something in my console here. What I can start, I'll start again with the same $x, and I can say, let's see, this is one more time. I can write here name equals a name. Okay, and I'll try the same way. If you can see here, again I am getting the one element here. Okay, again I am getting the one element here. So the same way on the Microsoft Edge, you can write by your own XPath in the console tab too. Same way what we did in our previous, or in the Firefox and in the Chrome. Okay, now as of now we covered three, and we'll not wait more time and not waste on the browser side. We'll write I'll show you one Opera, and then we can close. Okay, so now on the Opera side, what I'll do, I'll again click here on F12, or I can click here on inspect element. It will start my console and elements. Here also I can select an element. Using that arrow, I simply click and I'll get all the information in the same way which we had getting in a previous way. Now again in the console, I'll simply clear my console. I can write here $x and I can see here how do I write that. I said one more time the same query string I will write here, and yes, done. So if you can see, it is again identifying a one single XPath or single element using this XPath. Okay, this is how we can cover, or this is how we can write our own XPath in the multiple browsers. Okay, so you can use its console. So that, why I'm showing you this, there is a reason behind this. Most of the time people may ask you the question, can you write your own XPath? Yes, we should definitely. And how do you practice those to writing your own XPath? Always you can always use your XPath and write something into your console always. Okay, so that you can learn how to write and build your own XPath. Okay, so this is very basic now. This is very basic now. Now let's jump, and we can jump on the family now. Okay, so I wanted to show you this whole family today. I just wanted to make you whole family of XPath. Let's go one by one. Okay, I'll go here, I'll go here. Okay, um, now, and this is one of my site. Okay, let's take an example of this site. I'll take jQuery site, and what have that day on my system, I am taking the same today. Okay, and guys, I can request you, each one of you, um, yeah, so one thing is important. Whenever you have any question on the XPath, you can just put your question on this video so that I can try to answer those questions. Okay, because what happened, people are trying to ask so many questions and they don't know where to contact to us. Okay, so what I would suggest, you can just ping, or you can just ask the question on the video itself, and I'll try to answer most of your questions, or the support team, they'll try to answer all the questions. Okay, that is the only thing I can tell you. Now I can go back, and now I wanted to see here what is my first, that is a following. Let's take an example first, that is a following. Okay, so what I can do, let's say what following says, so following is saying I wanted to see or get all the nodes which occur after the context node in my XPath document. I wanted to get all the node which comes after my context node of this document. Okay, so I can go back here, I can simply write, I have a XPath, I do have my XPath, and that XPath says, I'll write the same XPath so that you can follow the same thing. Okay, now what it says, it says I want to use or get all the input tag. I wanted to get all the input tag comes after this attribute or after this web element. I wanted to get all the nodes which occur after this node. So what I do, I said another relative. I said another relative path along with my following. When I say following and double colon, that says I want to set the access. I want to set the access. Now I said after this context node, which other nodes you want to see? I said I wanted to see the all input. What I said I wanted to see all the inputs here. Very simple. Okay, very simple, guys. One more time. Okay, so what I can say, if you can see here, I simply have this name. This is my current node or context node. Now what I said, I wanted to say or see all the nodes after my context node, which has or which follows or which has the tag input. Okay, so if you can see and I enter, it will throw me three different input parameters. That means it will return me three index, that means the length of three array. So this is my first, that is a password which has a tag input. This is second, confirm password, which has the tag input. And if you can see, this is my third again, which has the tag input. I'm a bit confused about this button. If we can have, let's go and check. Yes, it has the tag input. Okay, it has the tag input. So this is how we had written a very simple following here. Okay, now what my request change, now this is what the basic thing that I have written. Now what my second request comes, I said I wanted to get the first after my current context node. I wanted to get the first input tag. After my context node, I wanted to get my first input tag. So till the point everything is same, only change is I simply write here 1. Okay, so what I write, I simply write here 1. That means whichever comes first, I simply want to get that XPath, that means that element. If I can click here and try to see, it is getting my password now. Okay, so one more time guys, so if you can see some of these questions in interview, tell me how do you fetch or get the data at runtime. Okay, and if I have a multiple input tags on my web page and I wanted to get from my context node or my current node, I wanted to fetch the next one, how to get it? So the answer to that is I can simply write this following and then tag, and then with the tag I am getting first. Okay, with the tag I am getting first. Now next problem statement is I wanted to get my login. Okay, now with the following I wanted to get my login. Now I'll show you, very interesting. So I said on this page I wanted to fetch now login. So let's say now how do I write? So this time I'll just change some of my approach. I just see what is that element is. Let me give the chance here. So type equals text, type equals text. Okay, let's see, there is a type equal text to all. So this time I can get this $x one more time, and I can write here star, and this time I said my type equals a text. Okay, what I said, this time my type is equals to text. I said after finishing all of my type equals text, I wanted to get a login, but login has some text. Okay, but login has some text. Let's say first which access I wanted to use. I said I wanted to use a following as an access. I said I wanted to use a following as an access, but this time what I need to fetch, I need to get this login. So what I'll do here in this way. See what I did. I'm using inbuilt method or function or XPath function here. I use XPath function here, that is a text. See, once I use a text in the following, I'll get number of different web elements. So I'm getting around 10 web elements here. Okay, but I need very specific. What I need a very specific which has a name, a login. Do you think it is possible? So answer is yes, true. What it returns? What it returns? It returns you a true. It returns you a true. Okay? So that means it says we ask one condition here. When you use inbuilt or internal functions here like a text, what it returns you a boolean data member. So it returns you here a boolean data members. Okay. Now when I say boolean data members, in the boolean data members, what happened? So it asks you whether we do have a text equals login after my context node. So it says yes, true. That is answer is yes. But now I am going to change this to log only. Do you think it is possible that I am getting this log? Do you think it is possible that I am getting this log? So answer is no. So answer is no because it returns you the false. Because it returns you the false here. Okay, it says because there is no text which holds a log. There is no text which holds the log. Okay, so now the next question or next thing that we wanted to see here is I wanted to get all the data members which has, I'll simply change here. This time I am using another function. Okay, this time I am using another function, and this time the function name, if you remember, is a starts with. Let's try this time. What I said, I wanted to get the input. Okay, I wanted to get the input, and I said input within a starts with. I said inputs which starts with your function as it is, and we said where the name is equals to, I said it starts with the password. So I said I wanted to follow this. So, okay, the answer is there is nothing to follow in this way. Okay, there is nothing to follow in this way. That's why it is not returning any of this value, because it says there is nothing is returned based on this value, because what we had written, we said I wanted to identify input which starts with your name. Okay, but let's try to close this. Okay, there is a close here. I can close this and then this. Okay, yes. So now what it says, I wanted to get this. If you can see, it is identifying one web element which has the password, which has the starts with password. Okay, which starts with the password. Very simple. Now let's say if I change this starts with to contains, what happened? Let's see if I starts with this to contains, and then we can see what happens. So I am using along with same, using your following. Previously I use only starts with and I get this password, or that is one web element. This time what I said, this time I am using another function of the name contains. Okay, so the last function what we are using and the same function I am going to use here. Okay, so I'm going to use the same function here this time. Once I use contains, I enter, I am getting this time 2. Why? The first one is your password and second one is your confirm password, because both contains the name equals pass. So if I can go back here and I can see, so if you can see, this password also hold name equals pass, and confirm password also hold name is contains the pass here. Okay, that's why it returns both the values now. Okay, this is how your following works. This is how your following works. If I can go back, so you simply used your sideways, that is the following first. Now I'll jump on my another sideways, that is a preceding. Okay, now I jump on another sideways, that is my preceding. So now what we do have in the preceding, what preceding says, I wanted to get the element previous to this my current context node. Okay, so previous to this current context node, so let me clear this. I will try to identify something. Let's say I said I said here, let's try to identify something, and I said this time, let's say a name equals a password. Okay, I said name equals the password. Now what I said, I wanted to get the preceding, that means the preceding element of my current context or current node. I wanted to get the preceding element of my current node. So how to get that? I simply one more time give the relative path, but instead of a following, I am going to write here a preceding. So if I have the password as my text box, I want another text box which is preceding to my password. I simply do here, that is again a tag input. So if you can see here, I use this input as a tag and I hit enter. It is identifying my username. Okay, so it is identifying my username. So guys, why I'm going more in detail so that you guys can understand these things. These are very basic things, but yes, interesting, and people may understood this thing. Okay, so that I mean you can build your own logic in the XPath, and you can utilize your own logic in the XPath so that your script will never fails. That means your script will always execute and succeed based on your all those logics. Okay, now if we can go back, if you can see here, as of now what we have received, we have get. So guys, who is not aware about some of the basic things, please go back and have a look at my first video on the XPath. I know it will be it was a private, now I'm not sure, but uh, our support team make it public for 1 or 2 days because so many people are requested. That's why we just make it public for 1 or 2 days. But currently all those videos, due to some privacy policy, may be private in future, so you cannot see those after completion of this today's session. Okay, so let's go back. Now as of now I have simply write this is a preceding input. Now again, do you think I can use a preceding input, but this time if I try to get here the first element, or I can try to eliminate the second. So first is available because zeroth position we do have something, but if you can try to hold or get something at the second position, you will see here the blank array. You will see here the blank array. Okay, now when you see here the blank array, that means you will not find, or you will not get, or you don't have anything previous to that. But if you can change this to confirm password, and then you have the same two, then in confirm password, before confirm password there is a second, that is a username. Again, if you wanted to hit enter and you wanted to try which one is that, you can see here it is identifying your username one more time. Okay, so it is identifying one more time your username here too. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is I can show you the multiple functions here now. Okay, I can show you the multiple functions here now. Let's go back and see how these multiple functions will work. So I can simply clear this. I said this is my $x, and then this one, this star, and I start now. Once I start, this time what I'm going to use, I'm going to use a contains method first. Okay, I'm going to use the contains method first. I said a contains, what I said contains, I said it contains the attribute name which value contains password. Okay, I said which value contains the password. Okay, so pass, or let's say pass, I say pass, that means it has the two different elements here. Now I want to preceding to that element or input parameter. Okay, I show you the multiple ways to identify. I show you the multiple ways to identify a element, the same element here. If you can find, I'm using that to get the multiple element one more time. Okay, so now once you can write this, what it says, you have your uh, pass, and then you can say I want to preceding to that as an input. I want to preceding to that input. So how many input comes? So what it took the last one. Okay, so why I'm showing you this, because this is an interview question. If you can see, if you can see here which one it takes, but if you can see with this XPath, it was identifying, with this XPath it was identifying two elements, but when I write this again using preceding, it identifies two. How come it identifies two when we get this contains two element? Okay, so the reason is when you write your XPath in this way, it takes always the last one. It took always the last one. That's why it took here it took here the confirm password. Once it took the confirm password, we write a preceding to that, I am getting a input. So it, once you take this, then it takes preceding to that is password and username. That's why the first one and the second one you identify here itself with this query. Okay, so this type of query we need to write. Again, if you can try to write or exchange or update this query in this way, see how it works. Okay, see how it works. Again it change. Okay, because it identified two, this time two. Let's see which two. 0 and password. Okay, 0 and password. This is a simple logic that you guys needs to implement into your query string or into your XPath queries. Okay, now I am going to start. I am going to show you another family member. I am going to show you another family member. Now our sideways are over, that is my preceding and following. Same way, I do have another family member, the higher family member, that is my child now. Okay, we'll see child, then we'll see parent. This is how we can change or we can check our another the family members of your XPath access. Okay, now let's go back. Now let's go back from here and we'll just try that. Now I wanted to get the child. When I said I wanted to get the child, now I'll simply change here. I'll go back and there is any of the element we can take from here. Let's take this time a menu. Okay, let's take a menu this time. Okay, or we can take yeah, that's okay. I mean, we can take this menu. Let's try this. Which menu is this? We'll simply try. Okay. Okay, this is menu of span. Okay, this is okay. We'll see a very simple menu so that you can understand first. Let me see here a control group or something. Okay, let it be. We'll go with this only. Okay, we'll go with this menu only. Now, what I wanted to do here, I wanted to get all the options within that menu. Okay, I wanted to get all the options within that menu. So my first option, or I wanted to get all these options, those are the UL within this menu. Okay, those are a li within this menu. So what I need to do, I can either get this UL and then I can identify this div. This is how you can identify some of your menu bars. Okay, so what, when I said, or we said I wanted to get the child, so what child says, child is nothing but all contains the children of the context node. That means my current node. If I can say this is my current node, if I wanted to identify this was as my current node, that current node is my ID speed button or something, okay, by which we can identify or select menu, whichever it is. We can simply write and try to identify this first. Okay, so let's go back and I can write this XPath here. So I say $X, this time it is a star and I have ID equals this. So if you can see, I get 1. Okay, if you can see, I get here 1 element, but this time what I wanted to get, I wanted to get the child. This time I wanted to get the child here, and how many childs it is holding. So let's go back, and which type of child it is holding. So if I can open that, okay, if I can open that, there is no child. So there is a child like span. So we'll see, at least we can get that span or not. So if you can see, so that current menu is holding a child, that is span. So how many span is holding? It holding 2. If I can go back here, you can see this is my first, this is my second. This is my first child, this is my second child. Okay, this is very simple, and this is how the child are also used to get those into using your XPath. Okay, child are also used to get your XPath. Okay, now I wanted to see after child how to get its parent. After child, how to get its parent. So once we can finish, we got this child, we can write something interesting in the child also, like if I wanted to go back in some of here in the button, okay, and in this button, let's say I wanted to search, let's say this is my apple. Okay, so what I did here is, here I do have the class widget. Under this class, if you can see, there are multiple tags available: h1, button, input, and a. What I wanted to get, I wanted to get a. I wanted to get a. Okay, so let's go back and I simply change here, that is a class widget here. I'll simply change, that is the class, and I said I wanted to change this to widget, and then I said child is equals to a. Can you see how it is identifying only single? What I write, I said child is equals to a, I get a 1, but now I wanted to show you the important thing, how you can use a sum of your asterisk or the regular expression, very basic regular expression, because I wanted to show you the interesting regular expression in some time, if time permits. Okay guys, so let's see now. If I can get this one element out of this 4, that means I need only a out of this div from the child, that is I need only child which has the tag name a. I got it. Okay, now what I said, I have a second requirement where I do have 4 child. If you can see here, I do have 4 child. So what I can do, instead of this a, if I write here a star, what happened? See what happened? Instead of a, I am writing star. That means I am saying I wanted to get all the star. I wanted to get all the star. It means I wanted to get all the stars. This is what current your the star says in the XPath. I wanted to get all the childs, so I am getting 4. I'm getting 4 here, that is h1, then my button, input, and my a tag. But now I can change some of my requirement, and I said I want all, which again starts with a class. I guess it's a class there. Let's say a class. Let's see what is the class. Yes, class UI button. Okay, so I said a class, and it's a UI button. Let's see immediately you got here 3. Immediately you got here 3. How it starts this time, when you write only star, you got 4. And now what you change something in your basic XPath, you just added some of the query string and additional query string into this. This time you add again starts with, and I said I need all from all, but which has the attribute class and this value, which has the attribute this and the class value this. This is how we wanted to get some of our XPaths. Okay, now I'll show you the parent, you guys. So let me go back here in the same way, and I can go this time any another. Okay, I can go to the control group this time. What is control group? Okay, this is my control group. Okay, so let's take an example of this control group. I wanted to get this control group. It has a div. I guess it has the div. Yes, it has the div now. Okay, so okay, this is my ID, and I wanted to get this, so we can get it some better way. Okay, just give me a second so that we can get. Do we need this? Not this. Yes, not this. Okay, so we'll just take an example of this div class. Okay, I need to write a bigger one, but let's say with the control group we can write simple control group. Okay, so I can go back. I simply copy this. I can try to write here with the class of this, and then I wanted to get it here a parent this time. Okay, so I wanted to get its parent. I wanted to get its parent this time, and let's say I'm saying to that all that control group, I simply wanted to get my parent. Let me close this, and I said which has the parent div. So if you can see here, I said to this control group I wanted to get the parent div, and once I click, I immediately get the parent group. I can immediately get its parent group. Okay, but let's say if I wanted to try, if you can see here, its parent is definitely a div, but if I wanted to get the parent of field set, okay, I wanted to get the parent of this field set, so I can show you something in a different way. Yes, that is how. Now I can try to identify parent of this select box. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll just clear this. I'll write here $x one more time, and then I said this star, and then I said @ID equals, what was the value? I said the value is this. I can simply write here, and this time I said I want again this parent which has a div. So if I can see this and enter, I can get this time that div. Okay, but do you think if I can write this time the parent as a field set, do you think I can get? If I can write in this way and change that to field set, so parent is one of my in my PPT, if you can see, parent is one of my on my upward side. So child we saw, which as of now not saw the descendant, we will see that too. Parent is one of my upward side. If I can write the parent, parent returns you the immediate parent, but it is not returning you the field set, because field set is parent to parent, that means a grandparent. If I wanted to get that parent to parent, then I simply write here ancestor. Okay, so I simply write here ancestor. Okay, so okay, yes, I forgot. Okay, so I simply write here ancestor, and see I get that parent to parent, that means the grandparent of this my current current context node. Okay, so this is how we can see this is how we can see how we can identify some of our parent, child, and then grandparent, or then we can have the sideways like you're following, like you're preceding. All those elements we can simply identifying using this the XPath. Okay. Now I know, guys, it is a bit late, and we are over the time today. So I'm going to close this session today here. But if you like the session, just click on like. If you dislike, then please click on the dislike and provide your comments. If you have any question or comments, then ask on the same video so that you will get those response soon, so that our core team or our support team will help you to get those answers. Okay. So meanwhile, I think there is another session required to continue this XPath, because it is not possible to finish in these 2 to 3 sessions. So I'll try to cover that in one more session, where I'm going to go more in detail about regular expression, which is as of now not started. Okay. And some of the another access families too. Okay, which are like your descendant, your attributes, namespace, and some others too. Okay, and following sibling and preceding siblings too. So thank you so much for joining. If you have any question, concern, you can just reach out to me. You can go back and follow me on LinkedIn. You can search automated script on LinkedIn and just walk through with this. Okay. Okay, guys, have a good night. Bye.